In the 13.2 Work Together problem, we're going to be talking about how to determine the payroll tax withholding for 4 given employees. If you work for somebody, the company is required to withhold 3 types of payroll taxes. They are your income tax. Income tax withholding is based on these tables. If you're single, you would use this table and find your yearly earnings within this category of the at least and but less than. And then you go over to say how many people you are claiming, basically how many people are dependent upon you. The more people that you have dependent upon you legally, the less income tax that is withheld. There's also a married table, so we're going to be using both of these tables to calculate the income tax withheld. There are 2 other types of taxes that are withheld, and they are the Social Security tax and the Medicare tax. The Social Security tax is not found using a table. It is always 6.5% of whatever your total earnings are, and your Medicare tax rate also is not found from a table. It is 1.5% of whatever your total earnings are. So if we look at this work together problem that is found on page 285 of the journal, we have these 4 employees, and first we're going to look at Eric C. Bates. Eric C. Bates is married. He has 2 withholding allowances, and his total earnings are $1,090. To calculate federal income tax withholding, we need to go to those tables in our textbook. Since he is married, we're going to focus on the one that says married. Since he has a total earnings of $1,090, that's going to be at least $1,080, but less than $1,100. So that is the range that we are zooming in on. Since he has 2 withholding allowances, we stay in that row carefully and we go over 0, 1, 2, and it looks as if we are going to withhold $90 for federal income tax for this pay period. Social Security tax, once again, is 6.5%. When we're going to multiply something, when we find 6.5% of a number, we need to multiply that number by 6.5%. But remember, when you're using percents, you need to convert them to decimals before multiplying. So really, we're going to be using this 0.065 to multiply our total earnings by that. So if we do 1,090 times 0.065, we end up getting $70.85 withheld for Social Security tax. Medicare tax is 1.5% of total earnings. Once again, that needs to be converted to a decimal, 0.015, and that needs to be multiplied by the total earnings of the employee. 0.015 times 1,090 gives us, that doesn't make sense, I subtracted. Gives us $16.35 held for Medicare tax withholding. So that is how you calculate 3 different tax withholdings, the payroll tax withholdings for an employee, the federal income tax withholding, Social Security tax withholding, and Medicare tax withholding. We now need to do the next employee. He is S, which stands for single. He has 1 withholding allowance, and his total earnings are $840. So we need to go over to the table on page 318 because he is single. His total earnings for this pay period is $840. That is found of the at least $840 and but less than $860. He has 1 withholding, so this goes straight across the row. That's 0. That's 1. So $94 deducted. We also need to multiply his total earnings for that month by the Social Security tax rate. To get $54.60 withheld for Social Security. we need to multiply the Medicare tax rate, 0.015 times 840. We'll get our 1260. We have 2 more employees to do. Christy Grimes is married and she has 3 withholding allowances. We're going to go to that married table. Her salary is $1,020 for that pay period, $1,020. So that's here where it says at least $1,020 but less than $1,040. We're going to go over, she has 3 withholding allowances, so 0, 1, 2, 3, $80. And calculate her Social Security tax withheld, 0.065 times 1,020, get $66.30. And her Medicare tax withholding, get $15.30. One more employee, Sharon Key. She is single and has 2 withholding allowances with a salary of $980. We go to our single table. We're looking for a salary that's at least $980 but less than another value. So here's at least $980. It's going to be in this row. She has 2 withholding allowances, so 0, 1, 2. That's $99. Withheld for income tax. Calculate her Social Security tax withholding, 0.065 times 980, $63.70. And her Medicare tax withholding. As you see, the more dependents that you have upon you, or the more withholding allowances you have, the less income tax is taken out, probably so that families can afford to pay for those people that are dependent upon them, because they need that money more. These other Social Security tax and Medicare tax, it doesn't matter how many dependents you have, they're going to be the same regardless. That one's based on a table, these are based on percentages.